Peter Harrison in this book called Some New World, and I finished not long ago. Excellent book, kind of goes through the history of even the creation of the terms nature and supernature, why they eventually started, but even that is something that we've sort of accepted, like this very, very strict division between the two that he is saying did not exist before that in the Christian world. And the division created this. Now it's not just a division, but it's one is real and one is not. That's what the division led to.
Yeah.
Supernature is not real, nature is real. But he is talking about the rise in his book in the early modern era. So this is essentially 1500 to the early 1700s or something like that. But it's sort of you're transitioning from the medieval ages to the Enlightenment period and things like that. But here's this middle period leading up to the scientific revolution, all these things. And he's talking about the religious precursors to modernism and secularism. And in the book, he talks about this notion that I had not heard of predictive processing. And he says it's this complex and multifaceted idea, but the central idea is that the content of our perceptions is shaped less by raw sensory inputs than by top-down mental constructs. The latter are based upon predictions of what is most likely to be the case in any observed scenario. So this research, he says, constitutes he calls it this profound reversal in how we typically imagine how the senses interact with the world. He says, in short, our view of the world is to a large degree shaped by prior expectations of what we will perceive. And he gave this example of the gorilla test. So you've probably seen this video. You probably asked to watch this video. He said, you're told to sort of watch this one part of the screen and observe what's going on there.
So you're asked, it's people who are passing a basketball between eight people.
Yeah.
And you're asked to count how many times the ball was passed. Yeah.
And what you miss the whole time is that at some point, a fully grown man in a gorilla outfit walks into the video and is doing stuff in the background. And then at the end, you're told what happened and you realize you didn't see the man in the gorilla outfit at all. And he says it's a little like that we've been told, because we're told here's what's important. Don't look over here. You actually miss a whole set of things that's going on. So are we really not seeing the miraculous, or are we not expecting it? And so we're missing it.
Yeah.
And
well, that's interesting because you're in that video, and everyone should watch one of these. Now that you've seen it, you heard it explained. Right. You're going to see the gorilla immediately. But that's okay. Because some of the fun is that you didn't see it and now you see it. But your eye actually did catch the light from the screen that showed you this dark figure walking and dancing like a lunatic in between these people who are passing a basketball between each other. And somehow your mind didn't perceive it. That's the point. It was there. Your eye registered it. Your mind didn't perceive it because you didn't expect it to be there. And so oftentimes when we don't see miracles, it's because we didn't expect it, and we're given into this mechanistic view of the world as unenchanted in many ways. We have people have blamed Descartes for this and others as well. And there's some blame there, but there's also a little too much shifted there.
Well, but even that's the idea of you create an understanding of the universe that's mechanical. So all you see is the mechanical. You stop seeing the things that you stop seeing it in ways you did before. So like it limits the imagination.
Yeah.
And so it limits reality because perhaps there's actually something real you were seeing there.
This reminds me, I was just this morning watching a video. It's an interview with Dr. James Tour out of Rice University, one of the most accomplished chemists, organic chemists, I think, of our age. Talked with Tucker Carlson about origin of life and how do we explain the origin of life, and that we have no scientific explanation for it whatsoever. He's a brilliant man. And for the beginning part of the interview, and everyone should watch this thing, honestly. One is you see this exuberance of this man whose intellect is far above mine, whose accomplishments in his field are far above most. Get excited about the fact that when he knows things, like he knows. Just giving an example of wood. He was saying, you were sitting at this table, it's wood. He says, but I know as an organic chemist why it is that a car made of steel and iron and aluminum and all these things can go 80 miles an hour into a tree and the car will be destroyed, but the tree will stay standing. What it is about wood. And he says there's this material God has created. We didn't create it. God seems to have constructed this material, the durability to withstand fires and withstand winds and withstand cars and all this stuff. We make stuff out of plastic and steel and alloys we have to conjure up together that aren't even as sophisticated as the wood that we happen upon in a forest. And you watch this him talk about this. And it's because of his science and his recognition that the more I know, the less I know. And the more in awe I am, the more he sees the miraculous in the supposed mechanistic world.
Right.
And honestly, if you want to see someone talk about the created order in a breathless way, who knows how it's made, but is still in awe of the mysteries behind it, he sees the miraculous in the things we think are not miraculous at all. He sees it, and it's not because of his ignorance, it's because of his knowledge.
Yeah.
That's remarkable to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So go watch that video of James Tour talking to Tucker Carlson. You will be amazed by it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's interesting. And he'd be going up against certain scientists that, again, would be almost victims to this predictive processing issue, because I think even what that research does, now what James Tour shows is that God can free your mind from that. But the research shows that with predictive processing, because you have accepted this certain thing, then the idea of like scientific neutrality is really this sort of naive worldview that you've bought into.
Yeah.
That there is a neutrality, but by the fact of what you're limiting when you go into it, you are limiting what you'll see.
Yeah.
And
well, real quick, it goes into that statement when Richard Lewontin famously said that when we look at these things that appear designed and all these things, we have to like shut the idea out of our minds because we cannot allow a divine foot in the door. That is a worldview taking over the way you see things. We were interviewing Fuzz Rana about microRNA,
right,
and so-called junk DNA. And he told us that during a debate with P.Z. Myers, where he was talking about how junk DNA actually has a function, P.Z. Myers says, I can't buy that because if I do, it upends the Darwinian evolutionary paradigm. It completely upends it. And to which Fuzz said, that's the first time I've ever heard a scientist say that the theory drives the data, not the other way around.
Right.
Because of a understanding, how do you put it? The
predictive processing.
Predictive processing.
Yeah.
And we saw it in real time happen there. It happens all the time.